All right, I gotta add myself to the stream. That is new. I need to make sure I do that next time. All right. Hope y'all doing well this morning. It is a Monday. Today is my last day off, and I gotta go back to work tomorrow. Get back on this grind. I do work for a school district, so I am partially off during the summer. So I had 3 weeks off, and then now I got to go back to the rat race. The rat race. Who is all tired of the rat race? I mean, I'll raise my hand. My family's been in the rat race for a long time, right? And ultimately, I don't think that I'll never stop working. However, I do believe that I can get myself to a position to where I can do the type of work that I want to do. Not saying I don't enjoy the work I do now, but I'd rather be doing this, right? I'd rather be, traveling, different things of that nature. So I'm in the process of getting myself there. And whenever you're in the process of getting yourself to a certain level that you want to be, so that you can enjoy life to the fullest and not just exist. It is, you got to be disciplined, right? And so, for me, staying disciplined with my investment strategies, staying disciplined with paying off debt, staying disciplined with earning income, extra income, side hustles, all of that. And eventually it will pay off as long as I don't dig my hole any deeper or whatnot. It was a cool quote that I heard that I heard recently. It says, when you find yourself in a hole, put the shovel down. When you're digging and find yourself in the hole, put the shovel down. I'm paraphrasing the quote. But a lot of times we get in the habit of, digging our own holes, whether that's overspending, whether that's or whatever. And then we find ourselves in the hole and we're like, man, I need to get out of this. But, if you keep spending and you keep, spending things on money on things that you don't need, then you keep finding yourself in the hole deeper. So even for me, just on my journey of becoming debt free, I found myself, in the hole. And then I told my wife, I said, hey, we need to put the shovel down. We need to stop the bleeding. So we went in and started cutting all types of unnecessary expenses. So you got to stop the bleeding, right? So today, we have quite a few things to get into. We're going to talk about commodities. There's a lot of news on commodities, and quite frankly, I am very bullish, even more bullish. I'll say even more bullish right now. Sorry, y'all, if y'all see me looking down. I'm used to looking at a Zoom screen where I'm looking at me or the other person, and I need to look at my cameras like a little bit above that. So let me do that. So I just had one person here. If you're in the chat, please announce yourself in the chat. Nobody did that the last one. All right. So I'm just going to transition my mind to these articles we're going to get into and the things that we're going to talk about today. And right now I'm going to go ahead and kick the intro. I just love doing this in the middle of the video.
Think. Act. And prosper. You are now tuned into the Money Level Show.
All right. We're back. and I have some screens to share with you all. So we're going to go through a few charts and some news articles on commodities today. Obviously, we're in this for we have a longer term mindset in this. At least I have a longer term mindset in this. And just disclaimer, none of this is financial advice. I'm just sharing with you all what I'm researching and what I'm doing. All right. I'm not dependent on short-term news to drive my investment decisions, right? So there's some things that happen where it's like, okay, this really affects the macro landscape, and there's going to have to be a response to this, and that response is going to take time to respond to this, pretty much. So, for example, when a government say like, hey, we're shutting down our oil production, right? Okay, you may see a brief bump in oil, right? And you're like, okay, yeah, it's high. Then oil goes back to its normal level. And we know that, in order for the effects of that decision to come to fruition takes time. And then, later on you begin to see the price trend up or whatnot. We recently saw that with OPEC cutting production. Oil jumped, I believe, from what was it, $70 a barrel to $75 a barrel. Then it went back down to 70, I believe. If my I think my webcam, I don't know why it just keeps glitching like that. I may have to change out for my DSLR next time. So pretty much, that took time to play. Now oil's at $80 a barrel. I mean, obviously other factors played into that, but you had that brief jump to $75, and then it came back down, cooled off. Like it's like the hype was over. But now you see that oil's been trending close to $80. Well, over $80 for like the last, I don't know how long, but we can look at the chart later. So let's go ahead and jump in some charts. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and share screen. Boom. All right, let's see. Okay, let's see where we at. All right, here we go. All right, this is the first screen we're gonna share. All right, making sure y'all can see me and everything. I hope it's working well. All right, so this is growth versus value stocks. This is a long-term chart with the Wilshire growth / value. It goes from 1978 to 2023. All right, so you can see here, this here was a unique time, right? This was the dot-com bubble. So growth stocks, I mean, you could throw a dart at the board and pretty much invest in a dot-com company, and it was going up just crazy. So the ratio works is like how many value stocks it takes to buy a growth stock, pretty much. So the growth ratio hit, I think I got that right. I think 1.6, 1.7. So this was the dot-com bubble. That bubble popped. Then people ran into value stocks. Value stocks are more profitable companies that pay dividends and that are more safer plays, right? Growth stocks are stocks that grow tremendously quick over a short amount of time because people pile in and they factor in the growth early. So the stock grows early. We can see that with a lot of tech stocks. So, and then you get here, this was in, obviously, pandemic time, growth stocks going up, and we get to 2021, growth stocks going up. Then you get the Fed raising rates and everything, and then it just plummets, right? And then it spikes back up. I mean, we're having I think a bear market rally, over the last this year so far. So it's skyrocketed back up. So I bring this up because you want to see like how these pretty much these like charts, right? So this chart, for example, when in 2000, when the bubble popped, right, went down, came back up. It took, this is what, let's say this peak right here, July 2000, to get to here, where people were going almost all in value stocks, 7 years, right? And then, obviously the chart stays down because when people are more in value. So then it comes back up. People, getting back into growth a little by little, and then, obviously here, I think somewhere over here we had the oil price collapse and stuff, and then commodities. I mean, I think gold was collapsed here. So like people began getting back into growth, right? And it ran up. So, and you can see this with many other cycles. So for example, this is the 1980, Paul Volcker comes in and interest rates are high, blah, blah, blah. We have a recession. Boom. People go into value stocks. And that took 5 years here. So from the peak in 1980 to 1985, that took 5 years, right? Then you go into another boom, growth stocks, right? And then you get to 1987, the crash in 1987, Black Monday, right? Then it goes down. 2 years is down. Then you go into another bull cycle of growth. Then you get into the crash of, I think it was 1991. We had a recession too. And then, it takes a few years, where it's slowly climbing and then it just skyrockets like that. So you can say, and I can verify this this is a chart of Amazon, right? This is from this chart. I pulled it up from January 1st, 1998 to January 1st, 2005. All right. So you see Amazon super cheap, and the stock was cheaper than this, but they've offered shares and all of that. So I mean, Microsoft would be a better chart to look at. But Amazon offered a lot of shares during this time, so their price reflects that over time. So their price reflects that. So it goes up, from under $1 to $5. And this was when was this? 1999, right? Comes down, goes back up, and then you have the bust, right? And then it slowly starts climbing back up later. Very similar to this. Not this is way over here in 2022, 2023, but just one of these little bumps over here, that's what Amazon experienced. So so that's the first thing we're looking at. All right, so we know that value stocks, actually let me go, I forgot the one point. This is a really important point I forgot. All right, hang on real quick. It's gonna be quick. I got some more screens to share too, so be patient with me, please. All right, so here, 2021, the market started collapsing, right? And then you get to 2023, it spikes up. So here, from here to here, this is less than 2 years. This is way less than 2 years. 2022, right? Not saying that it has to be a long time, but I just don't think that this is over yet. So like when you look at the .com, man, this was 7 years. June 2007 compared to July 2000. 7 years is down here. Even after the 80s, boom. 5 years. I mean, this could be similar to 87, maybe. I mean, 87 and 92, but that didn't bounce back as quick. That took at least 3 years. Here, when we get here, we have 1 year, and less than a year actually. Let's see, November 2021 says the bottom. Yeah, a little bit over a year, about a couple months over, and then it just shoots back up. So I don't think this is over yet. I don't think it's over yet. Because just historically it's taken more years than that. All right, so we got a comment. JT Coin Rings, my guy. Let me start your comment, bro. I think that's how it works. All right. So we looked at that chart. We saw Amazon. We saw the growth stock value ratio. And then I'm gonna show you another chart. Many of you probably seen this chart if you watch Kitco and everything, right? All right. So it's funny. This is funny too because it's a tweet from 2018, right? So this is the market psychology cheat sheet, um, and what it shows is the sentiment with where we are in the market. So when you're at the low, you get disbelief. Um, uh, and then you get a spike up and you get hope and then you get optimism, belief, thrill, euphoria, right? We experienced that in the .coms. Look very similar to the .com. And then it comes down and bounces back up. So that may be what we're experiencing now when it came down and bounced back up, right? Um, and then you get complacency, anxiety, and then you just get washed out. And many investors, especially like Jim Rogers and many others, show like, hey, like, yeah, we haven't seen, you know, uh, we've seen a correction, right? But we haven't seen, where it gets sentiment gets so bad and people get washed out and they sell everything and everything becomes super cheap, right? Super cheap. So this guy from honestly crypto, he said this chart annoys me, blah blah blah. This was in July 2018. I don't know if that was right before Bitcoin took a dump or what, but he said his chart annoys him. So shout out to Honestly Crypto. I don't know if you still use that profile or what, but shout out to you. All right. So looking at that, right? That just confirms like, okay, either we're in a melt up right now, and everything's gonna come crashing down because nothing's changed in terms of the macro, in terms of liquidity. I mean, the Fed is still raising rates. The Fed is still selling government debt off its balance sheet. Um, the Treasury is refilling the Treasury general account, which is they're have to issue debt into the system to refill the account. So they're sucking liquidity out of the system. Liquidity is still being sucked out of the system. They aren't printing per se, to just pump money wherever, like how they did during the pandemic, right? So things are changing, right? Not things are changing, but liquidity isn't changing. So that shows me like, okay, well, I think that this could be a even deeper washout. All right, so now let's get into commodities. It's taking a little longer than I thought, but I'm enjoying this time with you all. All right, so commodities. Right now, this is just Yahoo. All right. So we see crude oil above $81, gold above $2,000, silver approaching $25. I recently bought some more silver and a little bit of gold. I've also been buying palladium because I do not want to miss out on the next rhodium. Right. You got to buy them when they're cheap. So crude oil is up $81 a barrel. And we just kind of just talked about that. Right. So, and what I'm looking at now, I mean, just looking at even just um, the the commodities itself. So let's look at oil. Like oil has a lot of bullish news right now. Let's go ahead. I'm about to pull it up right now. Boom. You just go Google oil. All right, oil news. Britain commits to hundreds of North Sea oil and gas licenses. So Britain angers climate campaigners after committing to issue licenses, pretty much. So what happens is government, restricts, licenses, leases to land and, companies to be developed and drilling and all these things. And they prevent um, energy companies from producing more energy. So obviously, uh, Europe, they went through their issue with Putin and stuff, with natural gas and oil and pipelines being blown up and everything, right? And now they're saying like, hey, We need more oil and gas licenses. So this is angering, climate campaigners. And I'm not saying, like, I got some friends who are climate campaigners and stuff, like, and that's good. Like, I believe that, we do need to take care of the climate, right? And I believe nuclear energy, uranium is the answer to that. But, you can just look up, this is bullish news, right? So OPEC oil output falls on Saudi cut and Nigerian outage. Yeah, this just came up in 7 minutes ago from Reuters. So you can see there, oil. All right, you can see that. All right, let's go ahead and go into another one. This is from within the United States itself here. All right. So what we've been doing is replenishing the strategic petroleum reserve for a while, and the Department of Energy comes out and says, hey, we're going to add 6 million barrels. I don't know how much that is or how much of a difference that makes, but it shows that the United States is like, hey, we need to replenish our strategic petroleum reserve. And it says on here, it says that where is it at? It says Department of Energy's Office of Petroleum Reserves announced that contracts have been awarded for the acquisition of 3 million barrels of U.S. produced crude oil for the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. So U.S. produced, and then they're adding another 3.1. Right, and they have to refill this, because like right now there's just a lot of risks with war. There's a lot of risk with all types of things, right? It's very risky. Let's see. Daniel said, YouTube finding value finance, smartest finance person in US, not close. I don't know what you mean by that, Daniel, but I don't know what you mean by that. So what are you saying? What are you saying? What are you trying to say? Then let's see. Jackie said, where do you buy palladium? To be honest, I've just been buying the 1 gram. So you can buy the ounces from certain dealers. I have a friend of mine who, and I've just been getting my 1 grams from from people I know, or eBay, or Feebay. Let's say Feebay. But one of the guys that I work with, he's a dealer with Miles Franklin, and I believe he has 1 ounces. So if you're interested in that, be sure I can link you 2 up. So yeah, and Daniel, just share what you're trying to say. Okay, finding value finance is the smartest person. No one comes close, in my opinion. Okay. Well, I don't care about your opinion. You're on my channel right now. And that's not to be a hole, but that's just what I want to say. Right. I know smart people. I was just at the Rural Symposium. Robert Friedland there, worth 3.2 billion. Ivanhoe Mines, Ivanhoe Electric, Rick Rule, started Everbank, sold Everbank for 2.8, started it with 3 million, sold it for 2.8 billion. I mean, billionaires, right? And these guys are, investing in me and my channel. So, I mean, go ahead, finding value finance, that's cool. Hey, no disrespect to whoever that is, but you're on my channel. So you can either keep wasting your time or you can enjoy the content, right? All right, moving on. So let's go ahead and go into another article, right? And this is about uranium. Okay, we're just going to look at this really quick. All right. Boom. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Niger is one of the world's most biggest uranium producers. And recently they suspended the Constitution and dissolve all institutions after overthrowing president. And pretty much what they did is they, I believe they stopped giving production over to France. So they stopped exporting to France. So, and France is huge nuclear, right? France is huge in how much nuclear they produce. And so this is pretty interesting because now, I mean, I believe you're going to see um okay, let's see. French nuclear power plants source less than 10% of their uranium from Niger. So still a significant amount, but they can make it through. But uranium, I mean, countries are starting to see like, hey, we need to start um, producing our own uranium, producing our own oil, things of that nature. So that's why I bring that up, because many countries are starting to see like, hey, we need to okay, gotcha. Oh, okay. Yeah. Appreciate you, Daniel. Appreciate that. Sorry for being an a-hole, man. You just never know with people on YouTube. Some people just, come on just to try to make people's lives harder. But appreciate you. Yeah, that'll be good, man. Link me some videos. Shoot me some links on some videos or anything like that. That would be good. I appreciate what you shared. Yeah, and my apologies. I didn't mean no disrespect. Thank you for being patient with me to clarify what you meant. And so pretty much Niger, reduces the amount of uranium that they are sending to France. So countries are going to have to start producing starting their own plants, things of that nature, right? And I'll bring on a uranium specialist just so we can go deeper into that, because I can't say that I'm an expert in any of this. I just know basic macro knowledge. Well, not basic. I know it's pretty complex macro knowledge, but I know how this impacts investments and commodities going forward. So last screen I'm going to share. This is a recent article. I don't know if you all seen this. This one is Russia pulls out of the Black Sea grain deal, right? The Kremlin terminated an agreement that had allowed Ukraine to export its grain by sea despite a wartime blockade, a deal seen as essential to keeping global food prices stable. Yep. So, I mean, we talked about the food crisis on here before. You might want to stock up on some food and such. Not saying that it'll be very dire here in the United States. I actually met a guy at the Rural Symposium. He works in cornfields and stuff over in on the East Coast. And I said, hey, what do you think about grain security, and things of that nature? And he said that we have so much supply, like he doesn't think that, we would really be impacted like that. And there's different opinions on that. I mean, he's in a different state, works in a different um, field as far as farming, but um, I mean, he's a uranium bull, and he was pretty adamant that we had enough, to get by if it was to impact us. But however, there are stocks that we can be investing in, right? That that we can, look at. So like, for example, Nutrien. Nutrien took a big dip, right? Okay, I got to change the date. I usually use Trade and View, but this is let's go. All right, it's the date. All right, so Nutrien went up. I started buying this. This is on Lynn Alden's stock pick list that she puts out what she buys. I was buying this around, I don't know, it's about 50 something bucks. Ran up to 117, came down, went up again, came all the way down to 52. I got in there, and then now it's back up to 70. Russia pulls out of the grain deal. What Nutrien does is they do uh, a lot of fertilizer and things of that nature in terms of grains. So actually, I'm not even sharing the freaking screen. uh, my bad, y'all. I told y'all to be gracious with me as I work out the kinks, right? As I work out the kinks. All right. So Nutrien, right? I was buying here about 57 bucks, spiked up to 117, came down, spiked up again, and then it got all the way down to $52, and then now it's back up to close to 70. And this is, Russia pulls out of the grain deal. Nutrien produces a lot of fertilizers and things of that nature. So I think commodities are going higher. Daniel mentioned that UAN is similar to Nutrien. Look at the dividend. I'm about to go check that out today. All right. I'm about to go check that out. Actually, let's check it out right now. All right. Let's see. One of our YouTube viewers just pulled up, just recommended, well, not recommended a stock, but just mentioned a stock. So CVR Partners LP. Yeah, so they ran up from 50 something bucks to 180, and then now they went down to 79. Now they're at 91. And you mentioned a dividend on them. I don't even know where to find dividends on bar chart, to be honest, but I'm gonna go check that out. So this may be a good one. You all may want to consider looking into this one. None of this is financial advice, by the way. We're just sharing with what we're doing. 36% dividend. Wow. I got to look into that, man. That kind of makes me, lift an eyebrow, but I'm gonna check it out for sure. And I may even jump in there. So commodities are definitely going higher. They are what is cheap right now, and we still have an opportunity to get in. Because they are needed. They're very much needed. So for us to go through our next level of growth as an economy, as a nation, all nations, right? They have to, invest in commodities, and they need commodities. I mean, you're talking about this next phase of EV and all these other different things that we're talking about, right? Clean energy and such. Like, they have to invest in more commodities. Like this isn't enough. This is nowhere near enough. So currently, we can look at the S&P 500, right? And S&P 500 only has about 5% of its makeup in energy. I think it's 4%. And I believe historically, when energy goes through their boom, it's upwards of 30%, something like that. I have to go look at the numbers again, but the S&P still isn't, factoring in. So we haven't had retirement funds come in. We haven't had, the S&P mutual funds, hedge funds. There's so much capital that needs to be invested in this space, and you'll see a boom in uranium like back in the day, in the 2000s, and you'll see a boom in oil and gold and all these things, right? So these commodities are needed, for it's inevitable. It's not about if, it's about when. And so I'm positioning myself by buying commodities, and I hope that you all are considering that, given the information that I've given you all. So really quick, while everyone is on, I did start a membership where you can join the channel for $6.99 a month. This gives you a lot of different perks. You get access to interviews early. So like if I break up, because I'm going to start breaking up part 1, part 2, and my membership my members will be able to actually watch those videos early. You also get top consideration for questions for the interviewees. So I have quite a few people coming up. I got Jim Rogers coming up tomorrow. So if you have any questions now, you can submit those. But, if you become a member, your questions will be on the top list of my consideration as the channel grows, especially. I got Jim Rogers on tomorrow. So if you got any questions for him, be sure to drop them in the comment section below. But you can become a member. You also get access to some custom emojis, as well as you get a badge, and you get priority comment responses and things of that nature. So as the channel continues to grow, I have a lot of investment, in time and energy by, Rick Rule, right? Investing in me. So I just want to do my due diligence. And so I hope that you all consider joining. You can do that by clicking the join button, or I have a link and I just actually uploaded a video explaining that more clearer than I just did now. So I appreciate you all for being with me today. I hope that you all have a blessed day, blessed morning. Thank you, Jackie, for popping through, Daniel for popping through. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out who's that basketball player on your picture. Then JT for popping through. Yep, for sure, JT. I'm surprised you up this early, man. You was live streaming late, doing a coin ring. So if y'all aren't following JT Coin Rings, be sure to go follow JT Coin Rings. Okay, that's Grant Hill. Yeah, legend. Man, I wish his career would have lasted longer, than it did. But I remember seeing Grant Hill everywhere. I was actually thinking about going to. I think wasn't he signed? Didn't he sign with Fila? I was thinking about buying some Filas. I was telling my son that, hey, these were popular back in the day. Like, I think I might go get me a pair. And so yeah, I think he may have been signed with Fila. But yeah, Grant Hill, that's good. So yeah, so be sure to check out JT Coin Rings. He has he does a lot of coin rings, silver. He can do gold too. But yeah, he's doing this thing over there. His channel grew from 2,000 to about where you at now? 13,000. I need more subscribers. Y'all share these videos, right? If I'm providing value, share these videos and become a member. So it's only a cup of coffee a month, $6.99. You get access to the people that you love to see on the channel. Right? And you get to ask them questions, and I consider your questions priority over all the other people that may leave questions. So appreciate you all for joining me today. You all have a blessed day. Have a blessed morning. And we will talk soon. All right. Peace.